My name is Daniel Scesney. I'm the police chief here in Grand Prairie, Texas. I've been in law enforcement going on 24 years. I was in the United States Marine before that. And I think resiliency is really key. I will tell you that our officers very often are going from call to call, seeing the worst society often has, and it takes a mental toll. And being able to rely on a resiliency program, be it another brother in blue or a licensed therapist, to help kind of get you out of that rut is instrumental. I can tell you that I personally have leaned on mental health therapists to help get me through some dark times in my personal life. For some reason, law enforcement, we have this stigma attached to mental health. That's ridiculous. It takes courage to seek help, particularly now in a time where we can't embrace one another because of COVID or there's nationwide civil unrest. That takes an incredible toll on police officers. It's important to have an outlet to get your mind right. I think police officers are expert at compartmentalizing, so they don't often realize the compounding stress until a trigger hits. Sometimes it could be something as innocuous as a smell that maybe they encountered on a really difficult call years ago, and it could be something they think that they have already dealt with, and then they'll get hit. Or maybe they just left the scene of a baby whose feet had been burned intentionally. And the very next call is somebody who's extremely upset because there's pickles on their hamburger and they ordered it without. The citizens don't always understand that stress builds. The key is for the officer to understand that it does build. It doesn't just go away. And that getting mental health treatment is like getting a checkup at the doctor. There's nothing wrong with that. Having someone on the other end of that call, for instance, for you to be able to speak to that can actually relate to what you're going through, that actually has experienced and have personally felt the same things that you have throughout the course of your job. And it's not always professional. Sometimes because of these stressors that we encounter on the job, that impacts private challenges as well. So I can tell you that personally I lost my wife to breast cancer a couple years ago. And that was very challenging. But what was even more challenging is because of my job at the time, I was a homicide investigator, and we would investigate all unattended deaths. And I would tell you that it was a challenge. And I can tell you that I would see things at home that I was seeing during death investigations, medicine bottles and things like that. It was difficult to navigate that. However, my success came through a treatment called EMDR, but I would just tell you that mental health treatment, regardless of what you're going through, is key if you need it. Get the pros involved, get your brother or sister involved who's been through there, get some help. My passion, I could sum up in one word: family. When I say family, I think most people think about their blood family, and I do too. But in this profession, our family is also blue. And so it's true, I am very passionate about those that I work with, but not just because they're my coworkers, because I love them like they're my family. And that is why I do not mind sharing my personal stories. It's why I encourage other leaders, frankly, to be very vocal, because it's very unfortunate if an officer is in a dark place, wherever they work, and they're concerned about coming forward because they think that maybe their job would be in jeopardy or that they'd be picked on. That's not how we do it here. I want our team to feel very comfortable in seeking help, and I want every police officer to feel comfortable, because if you're not comfortable coming forward and getting healthy, then you really can't serve the citizens. I think new police officers should never lose sight of the fact that A, we work for the citizens, and that we support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Sometimes it's very difficult when someone is expressing their freedom of speech. We don't always like the message, but we have to stand the line and protect that right. So my advice to those coming in behind me, and what I tell all of our recruits, is never forget that, but also remember that you're not gonna like everything that you hear. You're not gonna like everything you see. Most calls aren't gonna be enjoyable. Don't hesitate to get help when you need it. It's critical. It's just as important as the gear that you carry on your belt, your bulletproof vest, is keeping your mind bulletproof as well.